We're going to be integrating from 1 to -1 of the square root of 1 minus x squared dx. First we'll take substitution here, and since it's the square root of 1 minus x squared, we want to take the substitution of x is equal to sine u. And that means dx is equal to cosine u du. And just do a direct replacement of x and sine u here, and dx with cosine u du. And that'll give you the integral of -1 to 1 square root of 1 minus sine u squared, and replace dx with cosine u du. So that'll be right here, cosine u du. Now we were going to take the identity, trig identity of cosine squared u plus sine squared u equals 1. Moving sine to the other side, and it has cosine squared u equals 1 minus sine squared u. We can replace these two together, and that'll give you integral -1 to 1 of cosine squared u du times cosine u from right here. And since we use u substitution here, we can't use the same limits anymore. So here we would have to change the limits. So here we need to figure out what u will give us a 1 and a -1 for the x values. So here we know that sine of pi over 2 will give us 1, and sine of negative pi over 2 will give us -1. So our new limits should be negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. And now we will simplify this equation, giving us negative pi over 2 pi over 2. The integral of the square root of, we can just square root that and give us cosine u times cosine u times du. And that will just be pi over 2 of cosine squared u du. Now we'll use another trig identity, that's cosine squared u is equal to 1 plus cosine 2u all over 2. And replacing that, we would get negative pi over 2 of 1 plus cosine 2u all over 2. And we can split these two up into two different integrals. And we'll write that right here. Pi over 2, negative pi over 2 of 1/2 du let's add a du here. 1/2 du plus integral pi over 2 of cosine 2u all over 2. And just solving those two, here we would get 1/2 u evaluated at pi over 2 and negative pi over 2. That'll give us -1/2 pi over 2 minus negative pi over 2. And that'll give us here pi over 2 plus pi over 2 is pi divided by 2. That's pi over 2. And that's plus the integral of this here. And to do this substitution here, we have you can do another u substitution, pulling out the 1/2, having negative pi over 2, and now we can use variable v is equal to 2u, and dv is equal to 2du. And we have du here. So we'll have to divide by 2 and get du is equal to dv over 2, and that will give us here cosine of v, and we replace du with dv over 2. Pulling out the 1/2 again, giving us 1/4 integral negative pi over 2 over 2 cosine of v dv, and that will be 1/4 sine v, and then we replace v back with 2u, and that will give us 1/4 sine 2u, evaluate it with pi over 2, pi over 2, and that will give us here 1/4 sine of pi minus sine of negative pi. Sine of pi is going to be 0 minus 0, so your answer is just going to be pi over 2.